Hello everybody, and welcome back to a little bit more WoW, if I actually wanted to show it on the screen. There we go. I'm not entirely sure what we're actually going to do today. I had planned to do horrific visions and stuff with Drac. I haven't actually messaged him yet, so I don't know what he's up to, but I've been kind of all over the place this morning, just doing a lot of stuff, trying to get back into my own schedule and stuff again, because really fell out of that and kind of not been in a great place because of that, but getting there. I actually spent like an hour working out this morning and using the Ring Fit, which I haven't used in ages, which was fun. Also did some 3D modeling stuff, did some art things this morning as well, which I usually enjoy doing. Just been kind of all over the place doing like 1,000 things, and then realised, oh, it was 1 o'clock, maybe I should start streaming. So here we are. I think primary thing probably need to do is go do some more mount farming, because weekly reset, right? It's Wednesday. I did manage to not do the last dungeon I needed to do for the Nyalotha loot crate, which was a big dumb on my part, but I was not good yesterday. I'm still kind of ill right now. Like my voice probably sounds a bit weird. My nostrils are like semi-blocked and stuff. Like, I think it's just a cold. I think it's anything bad, but it's it kind of knocks me off my feet a little bit yesterday because it just, I don't know, kind of took the wind out of my sails, I guess. So today, probably going to be going back to see if we can get some more of these undead mounts that I've been trying to chase after. We did show on the last stream, we got a couple more mounts, which I think are still on my hotbar right now. I should probably get rid of them. Also, I'm wearing my like blue light glasses, but they're smudged for some reason. I must have like caught them when I was taking them off yesterday, so they're gonna go over there. And I'll just have some crispy ass eyes by the end of the stream instead. But at least I can see. Yeah, we got a couple mounts off stream. I showed them off last time. I think it's the Flame Talon or whatever, the reskinned Raven Lord and the last of the Mana Rays. So now I'm kind of limited on what I actually need to go to Legion for, because I don't need to kill any of the cats anymore. I think it's literally just I can never remember the names. I always call him Biletooth, but I think it's Blaze something or other, the orange big demon dog thing. Need to kill him. Need to kill the Houndmaster. Skreeg the Devourer, and then the guy who's like riding on the weird Argus goat or whatever. That looks very similar to the one that you get for killing like 2,000 demons. Very similar. You just get another version of that, pretty much. Why am I always go to that guy because I'm used to just hopping on the flight path to go to Uthgard Pinnacle. And I know for a fact it's faster for me to just fly, because I think my flight speed is faster than the Flightmaster thing, but using the Flightmaster requires a lot less effort. Just click it, let it go, and you can just go and do something else, come back, and you're up there. No problems at all. Also, what? You can get an unborn Valkyr. You can get like a tiny chibi Valkyr. As a battle pet. I kinda want one. Yeah, I updated my all the things. I don't know if I mentioned that on the stream yesterday. I basically just changed some settings in it so it now includes more than just mounts. Doesn't mean I have like a massive list to scroll through wherever I go now, but there are those times where you go to somewhere and there's a mount but it's like locked behind a quest chain or whatever, or an achievement, but it doesn't show up as specifically in that zone because technically it's tied to the achievement, but the achievement is tied to the zone you're in. So it's useful just to have the extra like readout information. It's also good to just be able to see like what transmogs and stuff you can pick up around here, and like what bits and pieces I've missed. Like Invincible, still. Although I have everything else the Lich King drops apart from Invincible. Like, literally everything. I'm pretty sure this will show... Oh, no. Okay, it does just show Lich King. Interestingly. Doesn't show any of the other bosses. Which is odd. Which pet have I got? Oh, okay. The wrong pet for doing this. I'll have some time to swap when we get to the airship or whatever, because... Also, what are they set to? Oh, they're set to assist. I wondered why things were just like half dead behind me as well.
Regardless of outcome, they will know that we fought with honor, that we fought for the freedom and safety of our people.
Cool.
Remember, heroes, fear is your greatest enemy in this foul hall. Steel your heart, and your soul will shine brighter than 1,000 suns.
Yeah, I don't think we got really anything from the Oh yeah, we got that actually. I still haven't equipped it. I was gonna say we didn't really get anything from the island mount farming yesterday. That's quite a cool sword actually. I feel like you could make use of that with like a Death Knight or something maybe. It's got like a blue sort of glowy crystal look to it. Probably look pretty good. I actually need to rewatch that stream thinking about it where I think it was me and Drac were talking about transmogs and stuff while I was like running through Strathhome or whatever. I just vaguely remembered some things that we found and like connected to certain classes and stuff, and now I forgot what they were. I know it's different transmog pieces. Or mounts, one or the other. That'd be useful. Oh, what have we got? Oh, auction house. Probably just a bunch of stuff not sold again. More than likely. Oh, I didn't realize you can mount up out here. Huh. That's a lot faster than just walking around everything. How much inventory does we got? 54, nice.
Could it be, Lord Fordring?
Yeah, when I finished leveling up my my Mecha Gnome, I dumped like a bunch of money on this character just into 30 slot bags and sent them all over to the Mecha Gnome, so he's got like 150 inventory slots or whatever already. At like level 60, which is insane. He's just never gonna run out of inventory space.
Prepare the Skybreaker for an aerial assault on the Citadel!
Nope, there they are.
The world is that? Grab your spyglass.
In other news, I was
Clear extraction point with
I tried to get like an early night last night. Didn't go so well because I ended up watching Kraken, Strippin, Lolman, I think it's Joe Fudge, all playing the new like Baldur's Gate that came out like yesterday. It's like the first act of the game or whatever. It's in early access and it seems a little bit unstable in its current form. Like especially in multiplayer. Like single player seems to work perfectly from what I've seen. But multiplayer has a whole bunch of like weird desync issues. Apparently Dev's been working on them because they discovered it like a couple days before the early access thing was supposed to come out or whatever. So I guess they stuck to their deadline, but are now in the process of fixing it. Otherwise, it seemed pretty good. It's made by the same guys who made Divinity. Like the new ones. I don't know if they made the old ones as well. I've not followed the company for that long, but I really like the new Divinity games, and it's very similar, but I think it operates on like the D&D rule set rather than like their own custom thing they made for Divinity. But it has a lot of visual similarities. It's kind of just like Divinity 2 but prettier. Which is impressive because Divinity 2 still looks nice. That's just like the next step up, and then it obviously has sort of more I think it's exactly the official D&D rules, just because of how the game functions, but it's pretty close, which is nice. If it wasn't for the price tag, I'd have probably picked it up to play on stream today, to be honest. I just don't have a whole bunch of expendable income to throw around. So we're like spending £60 on a game that's one act of a game that's also not finished. Doesn't seem like a great plan. To be fair, if I'd have known how short the Avengers content was going to be, I'd have probably asked for Baldur's Gate instead of Avengers as an early Christmas present, to be honest. That's the only reason I got Avengers. Which, to be fair, that game has a decent length campaign. But once you finish the campaign, there's like there's 3 mini campaigns that you follow on after that. That's like the what's the term for it? Like the opposite of a prologue, epilogue, there we go. Kind of like the epilogue of the game when it just wraps up the rest of the characters' stories from the main campaign, I think, and that's pretty much it. And then you can go and fight Abomination and Taskmaster like 20 times in a box if you want. That's that's pretty much their game. Kind of sad. That game has a lot of potential. Like a lot. Like, genuinely, I really enjoyed playing the beta. I really enjoy how all the different characters work and function. Like how they, you can like combo stuff together. How each of them have their own sort of different playstyle and different way of playing the game. Like, I really didn't enjoy playing as Black Widow or Cap or Hulk, really. But I really enjoyed Iron Man. Like, the way that you can just swap into flight mode and disappear into the distance, or like swap to range and just, you know, you can change your like combat style basically like instantly, whereas like I feel like Widow and Cap are kind of locked into that sort of almost Arkham style combat system, which I don't think the game really lends itself to. But I've seen a lot of people, when I was looking at the Twitter and stuff for it, like a lot of people really like playing as Widow and Cap and stuff, so there's kind of a playstyle for everybody in the game. But there just isn't a lot of game, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of like early days Destiny, I guess. Or like if you play Destiny without the expansions, which is kind of how I play it. Like, the campaign goes on for like maybe 20 hours if you do all the extra side stuff at the same time. Which I do. I genuinely play every game like that. But you've got all of that. And then once you've done that, it's kind of over unless you want to just grind out gear and do like 1 or 2 raids over and over and over again. Which personally I don't really enjoy, so I kind of like play the main campaigns of those games and then stop playing. The upside with Avengers is they're supposed to be updating it, like, it's a live service or whatever, right? So they're gonna keep adding extra bits and pieces to it, which I'm hoping includes extra campaign. Because I'd like more campaign stuff if you could pick to play as one character and weren't thrown into playing other characters. That's one thing I didn't like about the campaign. Like, it worked from a narrative standpoint because you played as, like, the character that was carrying on the narrative or whatever, right? Like, you'd, kind of spoilers, but, like, you'd swap to, Widow when she was revealed as, like, an undercover agent somewhere or whatever, right? Like, the character you played as just followed the narrative of the story at that time, which makes sense. But it's just, it was jarring from a gameplay standpoint. Because you'd go from playing, like, Iron Man, and you can, like I say, just swap into flight mode, zip around, go into range, drop back into melee. Like, you can... It feels a lot more free, I guess, in the way that you can kind of just do whatever. And then suddenly you're swapped to Widow and you need to counter and dodge and block and do all the other stuff because, you know, you're just a squishy regular person and not a person in like a indestructible suit of armor. It's just a bit weird. I didn't like that. It kind of interrupted the gameplay loop a little bit. It wasn't too bad though, because generally you play like one mission as that character, and then the next mission you could like go back to playing as Iron Man or Miss Marvel or whatever, like the fun characters. Yeah, I do hope they add more to that game. I don't know if they've added the Hawkeyes yet, because I think we're getting 2 of them. I don't know what the difference is going to be between them. I assume they both have a bow. So, I don't know, one of them maybe is more acrobatic than the other? Or something? I don't know. I just want more campaign and like story stuff, because I think the story was pretty good. Like I say, it was kind of, you finish the story and there's not a lot else to do. Which I think is kind of an awkward thing to do with those sort of games. Like, what else do you do to add extra content? Like, Destiny has its multiplayer stuff, which a lot of people like. People play that for ages and... do stuff there, but... I'm not, as I've mentioned several times, super big into like competitive stuff anymore anyway. I don't enjoy it, I generally just end up getting frustrated and just feeling worse than when I started playing the game, so it's like, why would I put myself through that when I can play something fun, or I can mess around in co-op, or like the other day I was playing Reach Forge with a couple guys that I used to play stuff with all the time. That was really fun. We just were fucking around building stuff and like killing each other and whatever. Like, it didn't really matter, it was just kind of a fun mess around session. That was really fun. Then we played some Firefight. I think, you know, just fun, like, co-op stuff or versus stuff that doesn't matter, if that makes sense. I don't really know how to... I guess it's competitive stuff without an expectation of you being good or performing well, if that makes sense. Like, I want to get into more of like the high-end WoW stuff where there's kind of an expectation of you being good, but I feel like with that it's more about... It's kind of like fighting a boss in a Souls game, right? Where you've kind of just got to learn the mechanics. Learn where you need to be standing, learn how you need to react to attacks and stuff like that. Like, it's just... It's more like solving a puzzle than necessarily like a first-person shooter where it's your reaction times and learning the map, but not just the map, but also the potential routes that the enemies are going to take on the map, so you know when to predict people coming around corners and stuff like that. Which also has that puzzle element to it, but it's much more random and is, again, it comes down to like reflexes and reaction times and things that generally lead to a deal of frustration, even people who are good at those things.
Even dying here beats spending another day collecting reagents for that madman Finkelstein.
Like my friend Ryan, who I play some online Halo stuff with occasionally, and we've been like going through and doing all the campaigns in under 3 hours and whatever. He's really good at the multiplayer. Still gets frustrated as hell at it sometimes, so like, someone who's not super good at it anymore, doing the same thing, far more frustrating. surprised how much gold you actually got from doing this. Like, it's not gigantic amounts. But every boss fight is like 40 goldish? Which, if you're running this like several times a week, trying to get invincible, that kind of adds up. Something I do need to start is also leveling up the my 4th hunter, see if I can get him to 60 before pre-patch hits.
They lived and died in the service of the Argent Crusade. You have done much in this war.
And speaking of hunters, I was watching the Preach stream while I was doing my 3D modeling stuff this morning. He was testing all the Covenant changes on, I think it was a Mythic dungeon thing? Maybe it was a regular dungeon, I can't remember exactly. We were testing all the new changes. Apparently Survival Hunter is real strong right now. Like, very strong. Which is kind of exciting if they keep that. I'm assuming it will be nerfed, but it would be cool. To suddenly just, like, the specs to just completely swap and suddenly survival is the best one. To be honest, it would be fun to have, I don't know, the Survival Hunter kind of lean more into its whole, like, bombs thing. Because the bombs are, like, a massive part of the rotation from what I've seen while playing it myself. Like, especially later on when you've got all the talents for it, and you've got, like, several different bombs, they're all doing random different effects every time you throw one. You can, like, stack up a bleed and something else, and then one, like, refreshes your timer and something, like... The bombs are really cool and interesting. Like, to see them lean into that more would be interesting. Well, I guess Survival is supposed to be like the melee hunter class? I don't know. To be honest, it would just be nice to have, like, more of a freedom of, like... I said like 20 times. It would just be nice to have more freedom in the way that you can build your classes. I'm still a massive fan of that, like, old school talent system. Like, where you can spec into every tree and you can have bits and pieces of each, or you can spec really heavily into one. Like, that system was the best, honestly. Like, the one we've got now streamlines everything and makes it really simple and means some people aren't massively disadvantaged next to others of the same spec. Because they're all sort of okay, right? But one is generally always better than the others. Whereas with the old system, you could kind of just build the class however you want, and it meant that you could just have a horribly built class that was completely useless. But it was yours, right? And it would play the way that you wanted it to. It would just be nice to have more of that, but I feel like that's way in the future at this point, because I don't think we're ever getting those old talent trees back, to be honest. Unless you want to go and play Classic. Which, personally, I don't really enjoy Classic. I think I've mentioned that before. I like the fact that it has far more of a community element and it brings people together far more because of its, I mean, because of the difficulty, really, as you're leveling. Like, you need to have other people around in order to, like, fight some of these bosses, so, like the rares and elites and stuff. Whereas, like, right now in the game, you can go as a mage and solo a 3-man enemy, like, by yourself. To be fair, you can kind of do that in Classic, because mage is pretty overpowered, but for the most part, you need to have other people around in order to deal with things, right? So it has that far greater community element. The leveling experience, because it takes longer, has more weight to it, I suppose. Like, the leveling experience is a bigger part of the game. Whereas in current WoW, it's more focused towards that in-game stuff, so the leveling has just become like a fast track to get to the latest expansion. Which, I'm still not sure how I feel about that, personally, because I really like the leveling experience. Like, making new characters and leveling up and learning a class and how to play it and stuff is one of the things I find the most fun about playing WoW in the first place. Like, I have a hunter now for every spec of hunter, because I wanted to learn how to play each of them from the ground up. And, like, have that experience of going from being just, like, you know, a dude with a gun to, right now I'm a Beastmaster, a guy who summons, like, ghost griffins and can call down laser beams and, like, set a flock of crows on an enemy and stuff. Like, that power increase as you play. I find that really satisfying, so it's one of my favourite parts of the game, so that becoming, like, super fast in one way means I'll get to experience more classes and more specs and different ways to play and stuff. But at the same time also means there's less content, because I'm going to finish that quicker and therefore have less classes and specs to try, because I'll have leveled them all until, like, big changes happen to their classes again, and then I'll have to play them all again to figure out what's going on with them, so, you know. I'm kind of torn on the whole how the leveling system works. I said before, but I think there's a good middle ground between where Classic is at with its leveling experience and where Retail is. Like, I feel like the Classic leveling experience takes too long, but I feel like the Retail experience is too fast. So, like, somewhere between the two would be good. Like, the new leveling experience they're giving us in Shadowlands, where you can pick the expansion, but, like, make it half the half the length of the Classic leveling experience, would be perfect. Because, like, the 1 to 30 in Classic doesn't really take that long. It's then when you go from 30 to 40, it slows down, and then from 40 to 50, it slows down again, and then from 50 to 60, I think it's when it starts speeding up again, weirdly, but it's still not quick, right? I think it's because there's just less quests in those brackets from, like, 30 to 50, as opposed to 50 to 60. Yeah, it would just be nice to have a leveling experience that fits somewhere between those two. I mean, when I was leveling this character up the first time, I'd kept going back to Stormwind and locking my level, so I couldn't level up, so I could experience more of the expansions I was playing through. And then after a while I just gave up and went, okay, I'm just gonna go play BFA, basically, and just leveled all the way up. Well, I leveled all the way up to WOD, and then I had that horrible time with WOD that I've spoken about before, with all of its bugs and issues and pathing and crashing. Which then, obviously, slowed down the leveling experience again.
No more lives will be consumed by your hatred.
Oh. Fuck. Right, let's go to Karazhan. We'll just go for the undead mounts. Not really bothered about efficiency for today. In fact, we're using Dalaran Hearth, may as well go check Legion. Have a bit of fun. I actually still need to do a Necromunda stream, because I did that stream the other week where I was like, game's broken, I'm going to take a break until they fix it, basically, because I was... The weird bug where it would crash and corrupt saves just made me not want to keep playing the game, because it was... I kept mentioning on those streams where, like, you can go and back up saves, here's the location, like, go and do this, like, it's the safest way to play. But it just kind of made me not want to play, I guess, because it was just kind of... I don't know how to put it, it was just kind of frustrating having that thought in the back of your head that, like, well, I've done really good this mission, but if it crashes on the next loading screen, I have to do the entire thing again, it might go horribly wrong, and that's not my fault. But then I'll be punished for, like, the bad ending. Even though I did nothing wrong, sort of thing. Like, with those types of games, like the Iron Man locked games, having an issue like that was in the game is a massive issue. Like, it really hampers the gameplay experience. Hunter did a big leap. That was weird. What we got? Like, I've just none of the ones I want are ever on the world quest anymore. That's rude. I'm just gonna test something real fast. Does this work? I was having a look at this yesterday while I was on stream. I mean, what I'm testing you guys can't see at all. Interestingly, no, it does not work. Okay. Ah. So yesterday, when I was watching the stream back, like, I have it open in the other window, obviously, so I can read chat and stuff. Well, there is nothing there. Cool. And I can see, like, the viewer count thing there. But I don't actually think the viewer count thing that Twitch is showing me is accurate to anything right now, because yesterday I opened Twitch on my phone while I was streaming at the same time, and the viewer count went up to 2, but I already knew that someone else was watching, but technically I was watching on 2 screens. Like, 2 separate devices at the same time. But the viewer count still only displayed 2, and right now it's only displaying 1. Technically there are 2 viewers. So, how does that system work, Twitch? Because it definitely isn't the fucking accurate viewer count, that's for sure. Maybe it's more accurate if you're watching in, like, mod view or whatever. But I always open my actual Twitch page when I'm streaming, so that way I can A, read the chat, and then B, also see if things look okay on the screen. Generally I pause it, because I've mentioned before also that Twitch just, like, randomly crashes on my PC if I'm playing WoW at the same time, so I have it paused so I can actually still see things when I need to. But yeah, the viewership counter just doesn't seem to be correct, like, at all. So I might have to just switch over to, like, mod view or whatever. Well, I think last time I opened mod view it just didn't fucking do anything, or it, like, broke something. Oh, there we go. Huh. Shit, that actually does work. Nice. Apart from the fact that I can't pause because it keeps telling me things, rather than actually letting me interact with the window. Thanks, Twitch. We got anything in here? Nope. Argus is going to be a bust, isn't it? For sure. There's going to be nothing here. Yep, literally nothing. Cool. Couldn't even give me 1 rare. Ugh, I have to fight that one as well because it pulled aggro. Damn it. Uh-huh. Now apparently the viewership is 2. Okay. Sure. I don't think our view counter is accurate in the slightest. I think for all intents and purposes there's been 2 the entire time, but whatever. No, it's 1 again, but nobody left or joined, so interesting, Twitch. Interesting. Just out of curiosity, is this literally when I like open and close the thing on my phone, it suddenly increases viewership and decreases viewership? Like, without me actually doing or changing anything. What is going on in here? Wait. Oh, I guess it's an undead with a... yeah, it's a human mage with a thing on them. I was just slightly confused whether there was an undead mage just stood in the middle of Borealis for a second. Mod view is actually quite useful. I should probably just use that at all times, actually. Oh, right, okay. Yeah. I noticed, it's not that one. That's a whole other thing. But, when I had all the things set up to show me, like, transmogs and stuff I hadn't picked up, it suddenly showed me a whole list of, tabards that apparently I could acquire from, like, the area I was in. Turns out, there's a vendor inside the guild vendor shop that just sells all the tabards from, like, all the factions, from every expansion. So you just go in there and talk to them. You just buy all of them without having to go all the way back. Irritatingly, I sold all of the, like, the mushroom things that you need to, like, buy stuff from Sporogar, so I still can't buy the Sporogar tabard. Apparently Goldshire is under attack, that's not surprising. When I had War Mode on, there were just Horde players floating above it all the time. Kinda terrifying just how much the Horde outnumbers the Alliance. I did actually have a few topics I wanted to run through, but I appear to have forgotten most of them. Really seems to break the animation on this thing when you just do that. It just doesn't seem to know how to handle it. Curious if it does that on the rest of the, like, the dragons that use the same animation or not. I've never really noticed it before. Never really done it on, like, the regular drakes or whatever. I think that might be the issue with the watch thing. So the viewership numbers are, like, super behind, I guess. I'm just testing some stuff while I'm, like, trying to do this. What was that? Oh, the braces were new, apparently, not the dagger that I thought was something. What were the braces, then? I mean, they're braces, so probably useless and unseeable. Yep. Kind of nice looking, to be fair, for braces. I don't know if the viewership numbers... I don't know. The viewership numbers just are fucking confusing. It doesn't really matter to me all that much what viewership I'm getting. Like, And when I started doing this, and I'll say it again, mostly just for me doing this, but it would just be nice to actually see an accurate representation of the viewership so I can know if I'm doing something interesting or whatever. Like, this is for me, but I still want it to succeed. If that makes sense. Kind of the same with everything I do. I still want it to be good, even if it's just some random thing that doesn't really matter. Like, my most recent, like, physical art project was literally some Warcraft posters. I still went the extra mile to make sure everything looked really good. Like, the fact my printer kind of fucked up and won't print full A4. It has to have, like, a weird border that looks dumb as hell. So, to remedy that, basically ended up printing up several different sheets and, like, scoring them, cutting them correctly, making sure everything was nice and precise and clean. Even though it's just a dumb thing that's just going to go in a frame and sit on my wall. Like, it doesn't really matter, but I still want it to look good. Still want it to be the best it can be. Oh, I got the monkey one. Cool. Circling back around to Baldur's Gate. And kind of also a thing I was talking about earlier. That game has a really cool system of, like, I don't know how close it is to D&D, I haven't actually sat down and been able to play it. But you have a main class, but then you also have a subclass within that class, and then you can kind of just build that however you want as you go. Kind of like how Divinity does it, right? Where you can pick... You start with a class. You can kind of mess around and create your own custom one, but it's kind of best to lean into one major to begin with and then go, like, extras later. Like, my last character I made in Divinity, I started out as a fire mage, I think, because they're always good. You kind of always need, like, a big mage in the party. In Divinity, I find, just because of how strong they are. I started out as a fire mage, and then as we progressed further and further through, I started blending in more and more of the rogue skills. So I was a rogue fire mage, so I could, like, teleport behind people, shoot them with a fireball, and then teleport away to the other side of the room and stuff. Like, I think I swapped to, like, dagger and wand as well, so I could teleport behind them, stab them, fireball, teleport away, and then, like, like, throw them oil on them, then teleport away, then throw a fireball back across and, like, carpet the area in flames. It'd be nice to have, I guess, something like that. Maybe, I guess, because Blizzard kind of wants to have these more streamlined classes to kind of help balance things, which I'd argue still doesn't really work, but I can see how it's easier to balance the current system than it is to balance the old talent system, right? So maybe something like with Torghast, where it's its own separate thing and you get randomized skills, kind of like a roguelike as you move through it. Something like that, but specifically for, like, creating subclasses and custom classes and stuff. To be honest, I guess subclasses would just be the easiest and simplest way to implement that kind of system. Which is kind of what specs are, but not really. Because each spec is essentially its own class, right? Like, some of them share some abilities, but for the most part they play differently. Like, a fire mage to an ice mage, right? Like, fire is all about building up combos and getting your, like, heat up so you can fire off your big abilities as quickly as possible for, like, 0 mana. instant cost casts and all the rest of the stuff. Like, that's really fun. But then you've got Frost Mage, which is all about like big AoEs and stun locking and freezing people in place. It's got a whole bunch of like extra utility and stuff. And Fire Mage can use some of that stuff, like they have access to Blink and the freezing ability, I can't remember the name of it. Like, they have access to those two, but other than that, they don't share really any of the same spells, I don't think. Whereas, like, the classic variant, you could spec into multiple of them, so you could be an Ice Mage, but also have some Fire spells and whatever else, right? Or you could multi-class or whatever. I'd love to have something like that back again, like either multi-class or a subclass system. Like, if they really wanted to add a whole bunch of, you know, RPG elements, that's the stuff I'd like, rather than... you know, all this weird, complicated stuff they're adding. But I suppose that is me, and not necessarily everyone will agree with that idea. And obviously they're free to completely disagree with me. I'm sure there are a lot of people who really do like the current system, and I wouldn't be surprised considering Blizzard have stuck with it for... what, years now? Since like MOP, pretty much. So it's not that surprising that they're sticking with it. But I do really like the old system. To be honest, it is making me want to go and play Divinity 2 again, but I've played like 74 hours of that game and still never finished it because I got super far into my own like first playthrough, single player. Got super far in, like 50 hours. I was on like the second island, I think. I was like most of the way through it as well. I just finished the like weird blood demon island where there's like a corrupted tree or whatever that's like turning the whole island into meat, which is bizarre. But I'm pretty sure that was the last like quest line I did. You have to get over there by a boat that like kills you unless you're undead or whatever, which was interesting. But I got super far and got to that point and then kind of stopped playing and just never came back to it. So when I came back I was like, what the hell am I doing here? Who are these characters? Who are these companions? Whatever else, right? But before I went back to that save, I'd started a new save with Kyle playing co-op from the beginning again. Which was really fun. But it then meant when I went back to my own save, I was like, what are any of these spells and stuff? Because it was a completely different character. Like, the character I made on that multiplayer save was the Rogue Mage. Whereas the one back on my own single player save was like a Necromancer Templar type character. I guess basically a Death Knight, funnily enough. She could like summon giant spiders and undead and whatever else, and call down like blood rain and stuff. The reason Blood Rain is really good is one of the abilities you can get is Leech, I think it is, where you just, whenever there's a blood pool under you, you heal. So you call down Blood Rain and just continuously heal, basically. The only thing is, other enemies can also have those abilities. I think especially, like, demons and barbarians and stuff have that ability, like, already. Like, it's one of their starting skills or whatever. So if you're fighting an island of demons and you make it rain blood, it's not a good plan, usually. Yeah, I do kind of want to go back and play Divinity. I mean, I could do that on stream and just do like a weird... Because I'm going to probably continue on that single player save that's like halfway through. Can we get on top of the water, please? Thank you. Yeah, probably going to continue that save that's like halfway through. So there'll be no like continuous story element or whatever to it. It's just going to be me trying to finish the game finally. But if I do it on stream and make it part of the schedule, I'm more likely to finish it than if I do it off stream, because then I'm going to play it for a little bit and be like, well, I don't have any clue what's going on here, and kind of stop playing again. I suppose the thing I could do is watch, if I can see I can find like a story catch-up thing or whatever, or like a story summary. It'd be nice if the game kind of had the same thing The Witcher 3 does, where every time you start the game up again, it gives you like a short summary of everything that's happened previously in the story. So even if you've been away for ages, you can come back and play it and just pick it up wherever you left off, because it gives you like a little recap. It's like, you went to this place, you're trying to help this person, Triss did this, Yennefer went over here, whatever, like it just summarizes everything that's going on. Just really nice. Which I also still need to finish that as well, but I don't know, maybe I should just start a new playthrough of The Witcher 3, and just stick it on like easy or whatever until I get back up to the point where I was at, and then up the difficulty again. Although I guess also I could just watch a story summary of that too. The issue with that game is I'm more interested in the story because I also read the Witcher books, which take place before the games, but I'm more interested in the story of The Witcher and the universe and everything, so I feel like that would be a little more... Like, I'd have to be very careful watching that in case it like goes ahead of where I'm at and I'm like, oh, that's gonna happen next, is it? Should be an unfortunate amount of spoilers. I feel like Divinity would be a good stream game. Just because it's kind of like WoW in the sense that there's not a crap load of stuff happening all the time. So like my not amazing internet can handle it on the bitrate side. Like I'm pretty sure fighting the Lich King, like we do once a week pretty much at this point, like when he does his frost thing, I'm pretty sure that just looks like a collage on the screen because, or a mosaic tile floor or whatever, because it's just, that's going to drop the bitrate into oblivion because it's just so much stuff happening all at the same time. It's kind of like those tunnels in GTA races or whatever that used to drop bitrate on people's YouTube videos and stuff because it was just, there's so much stuff happening all around you at the same time because all the tiny holes in the the tubes and then the color lines next to them, so it's just so much like graphical stuff it has to render and send out to people or whatever. It just kind of loses its shit pretty much. Directs me to literally every tabord vendor with that thing on. Can I get rid of these? Oh, I have to manually remove them. Okay. I'm going to be back in just a couple of minutes. I'm just going to take a quick break. Is it? Nope. Hello, everybody. Where are we going next? Because we've cleared both Karazhan's, we've cleared Icecrown. I guess we could go run Strathholm again. It's real boring doing that, but it is an option. What else have we got that we haven't got mounts from? Well, it's a new week. Let's go do Firelands. Why not? We had some luck there last week off stream, so why not try it again?
Congratulations.
No, apparently there's an option in Twitch now that just auto hides risky messages. You don't need to have necessarily a mod bot in here to like hide links and stuff. That's cool. I did not know that was a feature. That genuinely seems really good. Oh yeah, I've got a thing to pick up from the garrison report or whatever it is. Oh, I rode straight past it. There we go. I was also contemplating upping my Shadowlands purchase to the to like the more expensive one or whatever, the one that comes with like the Hearthstone weapon appearance pet 30 days of game time or whatever. I say that after also saying earlier in the stream that kind of don't have a whole lot of expendable income. Which is true, but I really like WoW, so... I've also mentioned on earlier streams that WoW was a big help for my mental health and stuff. It still is, to be fair. That's the one part of my routine I haven't really, like, fallen out of. Even when I, like, fell out of every other part of it, I'd still have, like, that urge to go do this thing in WoW. Like, running this dungeon at Uthgard Pinnacle or whatever, because it's like a daily reset thing, so there's always a thing to, like, go back and do every day. So I feel like having it there and having that thing I can always fall back on to, like, maintain a structure and stuff, especially in this kind of uncertain period, it's super helpful to have. I don't know, I could get 30 days of game time for like a tenner, so it's not really that cost effective or whatever, but it'd be nice to support Blizzard's decision in like delaying Shadowlands, considering there's a whole bunch of people like fucking losing their shit and like trying to refund the game and all the rest of the stuff. So it'd be nice to just be like, Blizzard, here's 20 quid, bud. Like, you're doing a good thing. Showing some support for it would probably be good and beneficial for the community as a whole later. Because if Blizzard knows that they can still delay things, and the community will appreciate that fact because they get a better product in the end, then they might be more willing to delay things in future so that, you know, patches and future expansions have all the time they need to actually be as good as they can be. I mean, I'm still excited for Shadowlands. I'm happy they've delayed it because it means they have more time to fix the issues that have been discovered during beta. But I'm also aware of the fact that there will probably still be major issues when the thing comes out anyway. I mean, my major worry with it from the start has just been, like, the Covenant system, like I think a lot of people have been talking about too. Just because that system seems incredibly difficult to balance. Like, from a game dev standpoint, That shit's not easy. Like, balancing something and making sure everyone's, like, equal to each other and stuff, and no one person has, like, a massive advantage over others. It's not easy to do, and then when they're adding a system like that that's incredibly complex, just makes everything worse. With how to, you know, with the difficulty to balance it. Not necessarily a bad thing, like, having a complex system can be a really good thing. Like, look at Path of Exile's skill system, right? Like, the talent system in that is a giant fucking wheel with like 1,000,000 dots on it that you can upgrade in any different way that you want to go. Like, that's awesome. Like, the amount of customization, the amount of, like, player decided power and stuff, basically. Like, that's a really cool system. And that's super complex, right? So complexity isn't necessarily bad, it's just hard to balance complexity. And in an MMO that's, you know, a multiplayer game, balance is kind of an essential feature. Also, what is that boy down there? A ruined giant? Damn. That was cool. It was like one of those rock giants, but also an ancient at the same time. Can we get that as a mount? That'd be cool. Yeah, my major issue and concern has always been those covenant systems. I mean, even BFA isn't balanced, right? Like, there are just certain classes and specs that are 1,000,000 times better at DPS than the rest of them. So balance has never been like a super secured thing in WoW, but it is kind of an essential thing for multiplayer games. So I just hope Blizzard pays attention to the side of the community that's like, you're doing a good thing. Just taking the time to fix things, and it gives them time to balance things out more as well. I'm not sure the size of Blizzard's team. I assume it's quite large, given the size of the company as a whole and the amount of money and funding they have. So I'd hope that they have a decent enough team that they can allot to like a good chunk of the team to like balancing, and the other half of the team to fixing everything. Although I feel like the major issues with the game should probably be fixed first, balancing second, right? That's what like the tuning phase is supposed to be for, but... Oh. But yeah, I might put the extra bit of money forward just to be, well, A, it benefits me, and then also the fact that it's kind of showing a bit of goodwill towards them, at least. Yeah, screw going around the edges and not killing things. I'm just going to go straight through the middle this time. I feel like that's actually faster than like weaving around the edges and trying not to pull anything. Just going straight through the middle and pulling all of it. I do like this dungeon. Especially the fact that you can kind of just choose to not do the bosses. Like, apart from King Yimiron and Skadi, you don't actually have to do the first two. Like, Sorrowgrave you can walk past. Palehoof you can also just walk past. I did this dungeon during time walking, I think, and nobody bothered activating this. Because you don't need to. It's quicker to just run past and kill everything else. Don't know why it keeps tracking this. Really irritating. It's part of the achievement add-on thing I have, which will probably have to go away in Shadowlands because it'll be broken. But it just randomly tracks certain quests, like if you go into Ulduar, it just automatically tracks that one. Even though I have no intention of doing it because I don't need to. It still just keeps tracking it anyway. I think there's a setting I can turn off with it somewhere. I have not looked. To be honest, what time are we actually on? That is one. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's just with the mod view, didn't know where that was. In the top left, weirdly. Damn. Yeah, let's get out of here, and I'll, actually gonna use the flight path, and we'll fly all the way up to Ulduar, and we'll just do all of Lich King, why not? Did ICC, you done Uthgard? There's only Ulduar left, really. You're gonna pull everything because he's aggroed to me? He is! Beautiful. There you go, run past that. It's impressive that he can keep talking when he's dead, to be honest. To be fair, that's even better in like those first-person shooters when that happens and their mouths are still just moving on the floor. Like, they're, you know, in Skyrim you can decapitate people and their heads just keep talking to you. That stuff's pretty funny. I do just need to play, like, other stuff. As much as I've been saying, like, WoW, super helpful, and I do still want to keep playing WoW, but I know full well the amount I'm going to play when Shadowlands, well, when pre-patch comes out, let alone when Shadowlands comes out. I feel like maybe I should be giving it a bit of a rest, you know? And enjoying other stuff. To be fair, I need to play more Phantasmaphobia with Ryan as well. That was fun. It feels like the game definitely is made for like 4-player co-op though. Like, in 2-player it works. You can kind of do stuff, but like, if one of you goes down, the other person basically just has to leave at that point, because it's like, if they go back in, they're probably just going to immediately piss it off and it's going to come for them as well, and it's like, you've not got a lot of chances of like figuring it out, right? Whereas when you have 4 people, if somebody goes down, it's like, alright, okay, we need to speed up, but you've still got like 3 people there to figure out what's going on. But I do like it. It is another one of those kind of like, you're solving a puzzle type things that I enjoy. Weirdly enough, I just kind of like puzzle games, but it's one of those ones where you have to think about it and kind of work things out. And learn from like your previous mistakes and missions. Because I think eventually if you played it enough you could probably work out what the ghost is based on its like attitude as opposed to just like the evidence you find. Because all of them act in different ways. Like, I think it's the demon and the mare or whatever that can just attack you straight away. Like, they don't need to be, like, worked up or aggravated or whatever. They can just come for you because they're, you know, like, the most aggressive ones. But then there's, like, the shade that's super shy and will, like, hide away and is super hard to find or whatever. And then you've got wraiths, which can, like, walk through walls and follow you through different things, and it's... Also, don't make footsteps. So if you hear, like, creaking and stuff around the house and stuff, you know it's not a wraith immediately. Whereas if you hear no footsteps for the entire time, then there's more chance that it's a wraith than anything else. Like little things like that you can learn that don't require you to like find the evidence or whatever. I feel like the more you play, the easier that'll become. But again, it's that sort of like puzzle thing, like Dark Souls or whatever, right? Where you have to go and fight the boss a couple times, and you learn its mechanics and how to deal with them and where to position yourself and all the rest of it. Which I really like. Also, thinking about it, that's kind of what Divinity is as well. Right? Like, you go into combat situations and you have to figure out how to best use your combos and stuff. Like, I think it was the fight in the oil fields or whatever, where it's like, oh yeah, having a fire mage, probably not a good idea, because you ignite the oil, which kills all the oil ones, but then fire ones show up, and then you have to deal with the fire ones that heal in the fire. You have to be, like, super careful and figure out exactly how you want to activate your abilities in what order, and when to detonate stuff, and whatever else. Because I think if you can get the fire ones to come through soon enough, then the fire ones will kill the oil ones, so you don't have to deal with them, but you do have to then deal with, like, putting the fire out and stuff. Yeah, I just kind of love that element of game design of, like, you're presented with a puzzle that you have to solve. Probably why I like detective shows and stuff like that as well, because it's kind of the same thing. A little mystery that you have to unwrap and figure out. It's a shame I've never really played anything like LA Noire, which is kind of exactly that of the game. I just missed out on that game altogether. And then I think it got a remaster at some point, which I also haven't played. I probably should. Also, where's the Hemet Nessingway questline? Is that in Sholazar Basin? Yes. Need an engine, take an engine in the Nessingway base camp. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the questline is over there for the green proto-drake. I think I've unlocked the questline for the polar bear, but I've just never done the daily quests. Could do that too. Oh, apparently there's a bunch of Lunar Festival stuff here. Interesting. And Midsummer. Oh, extinguishing and igniting fires, right, okay. I've never done that. I've done the Fire Festival like several times now, and I've still never really bothered to do anything with it. Even though I probably should, because I'm pretty sure there's like titles and achievements and stuff that I'd do. Oh, I did do that when we were on the islands. I wondered if that's what that achievement was. Yeah, I finished the stream yesterday and just turned off everything and just like... I don't actually remember what I did. I think I read more of the Witcher book. Oh, I think I'm on the... Specifically, chronologically, I'm on the 3rd book, but I think it was technically the 2nd book ever released. There's some like weird Star Wars shit with the Witcher books, right? Like, they weren't released in the order that they are chronologically. Like, the last book he wrote in the Witcher series is technically the 2nd book chronologically, but it's the 8th book in the series. It's also not super interesting, for anybody wondering. Like, the 1st and the 3rd books are really good, but the 2nd one chronologically, not super fun until like halfway through. Like, the first half of the book is just kind of Geralt wandering around a town, from what I remember. Like, nothing really happens. It's just him trying to like get his swords back or whatever, and there's some barbarian women shitting all over the place or burping all the time or something. Like, it's just kind of... I don't know. It's weird. Nothing really happens. And then, like, the second half of the book is him following, like, a serial killer vampire or something. Like it suddenly like completely changes topic and pace and everything, and it gets really good. We have to read through like half a book first before it gets interesting. It's like, this is kind of a drag. Because like the first one's really good. Like it's a bunch of different short stories that really like capture and summarize the whole like the Witcher universe. And the second one just like derails itself immediately. And then the third chronological book is just kind of the same as the first one, because the first two are like a collection of short stories that vaguely follow on. They're like, they follow on, but there's like an undisclosed amount of time between each story. And the first one is all like from Geralt's perspective, I think, when he's like being healed somewhere or whatever. It's cool. Read them. If you like reading books, I suppose. Or get the audiobook. Also an option. I don't actually know who does the audiobooks for The Witcher. Hopefully somebody good. I kind of want the guy who voices Anduin to do more audiobooks, because he's really good at it. And I really enjoyed listening to that audiobook. Because he did the BFA book. I'll see if I can find like an excerpt or whatever from the Shadows Rising one. Because I've bought the actual physical copy of the Shadows Rising book to read. And I've got like a week to do that now, but I'm trying to finish the Witcher book I'm on first, because I stopped reading this Witcher book like halfway through. Because after I'd read the second one, like I say, it was kind of a drag to get through, and it kind of wasn't necessarily putting me off reading, but I just wasn't super interested in like continuing to read books at that point, because I was just kind of like tired out from just how much it dragged to actually get interesting. And I think I got halfway through reading this one, and then the Witcher series came out as well. And the Witcher series is... Oh crap, I've got to sell everything. The Witcher series kind of is the first and third books. Pretty much. It completely skips over the story from the second book chronologically. Understandably, because it's not that good, but it, yeah, just completely skips over it. Which was a wise decision, honestly. But also, the Witcher series does some weird things that aren't in the books at all. Yet, anyway. I'm just going to talk about the Witcher series, so if you haven't watched it yet, you should go and watch it, and then come back and finish the stream, because the way that the Witcher series ends hasn't happened where I'm at in the books yet. But the first story from the third books is like the story arc from like the latter half of the series. So the part in the series where Geralt and Triss are like meeting up on the road again or whatever, right? And they go and find the dragons and stuff. That happens like at the start, pretty much, of the third book. But all the stuff from the episodes after that haven't happened yet, and I'm like 3/4 of the way through the third book now. So I'm wondering if the show is just doing its own thing, or if that is like the last mini story, is that stuff. Because there's stuff that happens at the end of the Witcher series. I'm kind of trying to not like directly say anything, but there's a lot of stuff that happens, right? Kind of big deals and like people disappearing and stuff happening, which has not happened at all. Like, Ciri hasn't even been introduced in the books yet. I'm on the third one, and there's still no Ciri. And from what I heard in the run-up to the series, I thought Ciri was supposed to be more of a major character in the books, but she just doesn't even exist yet. I'm 3 books in. She ain't here. Like... I'm kind of expecting her to show up sooner rather than later. But I could be entirely wrong on that. I suppose it could happen. I mean, just a theory from where I'm at in the books. Obviously, if you've read them all, this could make no fucking sense. But theory is, because how the show does things, right? Where there's kind of like time jumps between everything, which happens in the books as well. Like the undisclosed time jumps I mentioned. I'm wondering if, basically where I'm at in the books, is I'm just reading like Geralt and Yennefer's perspectives, which you see in the show, right? And the 4th book, chronologically, is just gonna switch and be from like Ciri's perspective. And kind of catch me up onto what's been happening over on her side. Oh, that is a real shame I can't send that. That is a cool-ass mace. Yep. Your pet is dead. What? What did he do? Run into a wall? What the fuck? How did he die? I didn't even fight anything that does damage. Okay, bud. But yeah, also I have, from what I remember of reading the first Witcher book, I have an idea of already what's going to happen towards the end. Because right at the start, basically, like, well, it's at the end of the first book, whatever, Geralt's given his, like, prophecy of what's going to happen to him. And I already know that the games kind of retcon what happens at the end of the book, and that's why he's alive. So I'm pretty sure he dies at the end of the book series. Which is why in the games Geralt doesn't remember things. And why it takes him until like the 3rd game to remember who Yennefer is. Even though she's like his major love interest the entire way through the books, like from the beginning. So I'm pretty sure he dies at the end of the book, quotation marks, and that's why he has like amnesia in the games. I'm kind of interested to see where everything goes, but I've got like 7 books to get through. Well,
Impossible. Lord
5?
Lord, I will bring your foes a frigid death.
Stay your arms. I yield. You fiend! You are
Getting
not
shot.
my
Oh, she's shooting.
Begone!
Right.
Behold the hand.
Is there a dwarf just gonna come running out of somewhere?
Fallen Ulduar, left my kingdom in ruins, corrupted my
Oh, no,
brother
cool.
and
Okay.
slain my wife. And now
Pardon me.
it falls to you, champions, to avenge us all. The task before you is great, but
I'm trying to cut everything other than the shoulders from
I
him.
am able.
Interesting.
You
Oh.
must prevail.
I just got some random pants. Nice. Ah, yeah, they're very Wrath of the Lich King, aren't they? Oh, the music has muted stuff. Cool. But yeah, one thing I've been doing while I've been reading the Witcher books is listening to the Witcher soundtrack generally while I'm reading them, and I find that adds a lot. Weirdly. To be honest, I usually have something on in the background when I'm reading anyway, but like with The Witcher, because it has its own soundtrack, because it has games and stuff, like it has music that perfectly fits.
His hold on me dissipates. I can see clearly once more.
Anytime I don't really like have something playing in the background while I'm readings when I'm listening to audiobooks, which themselves are the thing in the background, so... Which reminds me, I've still got, like, the Forerunner trilogy of audiobooks to listen to from Halo. Which I think I started, and it was just kind of, like, super heavy sci-fi immediately. Like, it was 1,000 words that none of which made any sense in any context, sort of thing. It'd be like listening to Doctor Who for the first time, but having no idea what any of the things around him, which are kind of like standard things, mean as well. So he just keeps coming out with a bunch of random crap, and then also there's the TARDIS and a sonic screwdriver and all this other shit, just like, what the fuck does any of this mean, sort of thing, you know? Which I assume is why, in Doctor Who, there is always, like, some character at the start of a series or whatever who will ask, like, what does TARDIS stand for? Or there's always a scene where he explicitly explains it in some fashion. Because it's, like, the staple thing that everybody needs to know what it is. Oh yeah, the giant tin can opener. Forgot about this. It's been a while since I actually looked at it. Yeah, the 3D modeling thing I was working on before the stream. I made a Warhammer based on Sigmar's hammer or whatever from like some concept art stuff I'd seen. I started making it while I was playing Mordheim. Well, I'd been playing Mordheim, so I made it like inspired by it pretty much. And the thing I was struggling with, which I only just figured out a way to do this morning, was like making a leather wrap on the like the handle part, because if I'd have made it in 3ds Max, I would have just used the, like, there's a tool called the line tool, and you can just attach a modifier to that basically just turns it into, like, a cube or a plane to, like, wrap around something, right? So you just make the line tool curve around whatever you need it to. You add the sweep modifier, you change the settings on it so it turns it into a plane rather than, like, a pipe or whatever, right? And that then just instantly creates your wrap. But I made it in Blender, because I'm trying to learn Blender because it's, well, I already learned Blender, I'm just trying to learn how to use it more and more, like get more efficient with it. The reason for doing that is because Blender doesn't require you to have like £2,000 to spend on a license to use, funnily enough, so you can just use it to make things. So I've been learning it and trying to get more and more efficient with it. But the workaround I found to make leather straps is kind of using, weirdly enough, the system WoW uses for its textures on things. I don't know if I'll be able to show you because a lot of this stuff now is like super 3D, but like maybe an old sword would be a good way of doing it. Where we at? Swords, 100 swords, go all the way back to... Here we go. Oh, he's got his hand wrapped around it. That's irritating. But the way, like, all the WoW textures are done, they're all, like, hand-painted stuff, right? But a common thing throughout all of them is they're always brighter at the top and darker at the bottom, so they always have this, like, imitation lighting. You can't see my mouse, I just remembered, but you can get what I'm talking about, right? Like, the top is always lighter than the bottom. Which then, like, imitates the idea of having, like, complex lighting and... it creates more of like a 3D effect if you layer that on top of each other rather than not having it, right? So my solution to the system, the solution to the problem I was having at the time, was to basically employ the same thing, but being really cheaty and using the Photoshop drop shadow effect. So basically I took the leather texture I had, split it into like diagonal lines that all connected onto each other on the edges, so that way it would create like a continuous wrap effect all the way up. and then applied a drop shadow to each layer of that, so it always looked like it was on top of the previous layer to create like a staggered leather wrap that constantly looped on top of each other. And it looks really good. The only issue is that I still haven't quite figured out how to get Unreal to recognize that something isn't made of metal when you put a metallic map on it. I think I might need to like custom make my own metal map rather than using the one that like Substance Painter renders out. Because basically what it does is turn the entire asset into making it metal. So like your leather wrap suddenly becomes like this super glossy like copper handle that just does not look right at all, and then when you put a normal map on top of that, it turns into like a weird glossy copper handle that's been dropped into like several different acid baths, and it just does not look right in the slightest. Unreal is just real janky with some of its maps for some reason. And that's using the like Unreal export textures format as well, like the format that's meant to work in Unreal and it doesn't. So I think I need to like sit and play around with that manually to get it all working exactly as intended. My theory is, or the plan, I was gonna do like low poly fun character packs or whatever for Unreal on the marketplace and just try and have like, you know, a passive income until I can actually get a job somewhere. And given everything going on in the world, that might take longer than expected, considering it's already been a fucking year since I finished uni. But basically, the plan is to use that to make some money on the side, but the problem is, if you're making character packs, they expect like super good animation, and personally, as a 3D modeler who hates animation, not very good at doing that. Like, I don't get along with animation at all. I suck at it, I struggle making them. I literally spent like days making the animations for the assets I already made, and then spent like months going through the Unreal like asset application process and just being rejected every time because like the animations aren't good enough, but it's like I can't do any better. Like that is legitimately the best animations I can pull out of the bag, and they look fine. Like legitimately they're not that bad. They're just like slightly more clunky than WoW animations. Like they're really not bad, but apparently they need to be super professional, like high-end animation work for Unreal to accept them for whatever reason. And I don't know why, considering I've looked on the Unreal Marketplace and there's fucking like shitty-looking deer assets that don't have any animations, but apparently they're perfectly fine and can get accepted. But enough ranting about that. My plan is instead to just make a whole bunch of like little assets and do game jams and stuff to like make asset packs while also producing a full product. Because I entered the Yogscast game jam last year, like last Christmas, and did pretty well actually, in like the top 20, which was nice, out of like 400 entries, and I did that all solo. So I kind of want to find more things I can do that kind of fit into that realm, and then I can just group up all the assets I make for that, and then also make a passive income off of just asset packs, right? And if I'm producing them for like a time-limited project as well, it means I'm more likely to get more done in the time frame because I'm under like a deadline and pressure from doing things. I've mentioned before, like I work better with deadlines. So entering game jams and having deadline and then having like assets to produce within that. Oh, I forgot about it was whoosh. Yeah, see you later, Yog. He gave me nothing as usual. Yeah, that's the plan. Make a bunch of assets. But now I've got the Warhammer thing down, I can use that same technique on a whole bunch of different weapons and stuff, and I already started work on like a roguelike style weapon system, unlike Borderlands where it has like randomized components. I started work on that like Feels like a year ago now, but I started work on that, and so it wouldn't be hard to apply that texturing method to those sort of assets. And then it means I can create sort of a randomized asset pool. So every weapon will be unique or whatever. There's like, I think with the current thing I have set up, there's like 1,000 different combinations of swords. And I started work on axes and then kind of trailed off and did other things for a bit. I've already got like 1,000 swords, so I just need to do like 1,000 hammers and 1,000 axes, and then there you go. If Unreal complains about the lack of content in the asset pack, then I feel like that's when I throw a brick through Epic's window. Because, like, how the fuck is 1,000 swords not enough content? But I have a feeling taking some time to look through, like, WoW's asset pool and the things that the WoW art team have produced will probably be helpful inspiration. Considering the idea of using the like the drop shadow effect to create like a 3D thing was basically borrowed from the WoW hand painted system. Right, where else shall we go for like the last 10 minutes ish? I think we've pretty much covered everything, to be honest. Well, I guess we can go check Argus again, but we could go to Mechagon, but that's a half-an-hour wait for Rustfeather to spawn, which I'm not super bothered about right now, I'll be honest. We've done Pandaria, other than whatever it's... Oh yeah, Firelands. That's what we were gonna go do, and then I didn't do it. We went and did Uldir instead. Yeah, screw it, Firelands. We'll get one done. Probably not both variants, but that's fine. When's the next holiday event, actually? Oh, Dark Moon's up right now, I didn't even notice. But, what have we got? World Quest something or other? Oh yeah, BC Time Walking is the 21st. Got Halloween event starting soon. That'll be fun. Try and get the Headless Horseman's horse, which will be a nice, like, undead mount to add to the collection. Where I'll get fine, that's fine. Okay. I think if I, well, when I make the Vulpera on the pre-patch, I'm gonna put their camp outside of the Firelands until I finish all the mounts, though. Just because I feel like it's one of the most awkward places to, like, keep going to. Like, with everywhere else, you just go to the portal room, and you hop through a portal, and you're there, right? And then Firelands, you've got to go to Stormwind, go out of the portal room, fly across the entirety of Stormwind, hop through another portal, and then fly across the fucking Mount Hyjal to the Firelands. Same with, Onyxia, to be fair, isn't it? You have to, like, go from Silithus and then fly across, like, half of Kalimdor. To then get to the swamp or whatever the Onyxia's in. Oh, that's the point. We could have just gone to Onyxia as well. To be fair, we've made some good progress on mounts. Like 14 mounts in like the past, what, like month that I haven't been mount farming, basically. Well, I say haven't been mount farming. We haven't been mount farming to the degree we were before, right? Kind of been doing it like on and off, and some weeks just not doing it all. And somehow we still managed to get 14 mounts. Feels good. Feels real good, actually. Yeah, hopefully we can get the last one. I feel like the Apologies. I feel like the Green Proto-Drake questline will probably be better off being done on a separate character that actually levels through Lich King. So probably wait for the pre-patch. Because, thingy. It requires you to not instantly kill a mob, I think, at one point, which is not going to happen on this character. Like, I'm just going to instantly kill things. Especially if it's just a random mob in the world. Like, this character one-shots, like, heroic dungeon bosses in Lich King dungeon. So if it's just a random Lich King mob in the world, like, it's got no chance, right? So I definitely need a new character to go through there, who isn't just going to instantly kill everything. Alright, let's grab the scorpions. This is going to be risky because they're going to gain on me, which means I can start throwing traps. Yep. Fuck. Fuck off with the traps. It'd be nice if I could buy, like, I don't know, oil or something before I came in here so I could just, like, dodge traps or something. I'm just too slippery for your traps. Like, that would be perfect, but no. I have to literally just get spam trapped for 5 minutes and then I'm able to run again. Oh, now I'm conflagellant. What the fuck? I'm on fire, I think. And now I'm in a net. To be fair, that would be the downside of coming in here doused in oil, wouldn't it? You'd just be lit on fire instantly. Can't throw a trap on me. They can turn me into a human candle. I feel like we've got a decent chunk of them now, though. See if we can run all the way over to that. See if we can run all the way over to that. Nope. Okay. Core Hound. There we go. Thank you. Nope. Apparently we can't move. I'm stun locked. Oh, that's fun. I also kind of want to play Path of Exile again. I want to play a lot of games right now. Oh, come on. What ability did I press? I pressed the healing one rather than the beam. Well, that was dumb of me. Like how there's so much loot in this pile, the game just can't handle it. I've had to loot this pile 3 times. We got as much gold out of that pile as running, like, the entirety of, ICC, I think. That's kind of insane. Why am I not just gold farming this place? Like, what? To be fair, I think you can make as much gold by just doing the start of, like, one of the Pandaria dungeons, Heart of Fear. One with all the Calaxy or whatever at the beginning. I was gonna say, is my pterodactyl dead again, but no, he's alive. Cool. It's just being a dumbass. Well, that was a second one of him up there, but it's a whole... Or her, I guess? I don't know. It's a spider. Does it really matter what gender I call it? Something tells me it probably won't be that offended if I say the wrong gender. Mostly because I'm pretty sure it can't actually understand English. It's kind of irritating that I only need the mount from Rag now, because that means I have to kill all of this stuff and there's no chance of anything useful dropping from it. Apart from money. It's literally all these guys can give me now. Because I've got, I think, both armor sets? And the mount from the Phoenix. So I've got all the useful stuff out here. Oh, come on. I get stuck on a tiny incline. Excuse me? What am I even hit with? Oh, that debuff, but the bar didn't come up at the bottom. That was irritating. Did you lose aggro? When he went like around the corner, dude. Jeez. Oh, my corruption was slowing me down. Interesting. Didn't even realise it went off, to be honest. Can I... Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Oh. Literally the second I tried to click. Come on. Okay, he just walked into my beam. Nice. Are we, like, are our bags full already? Yeah, okay, bags are definitely full. Apparently you don't want to sell half this stuff? Okay, I'll do it for you, game, I guess. I really need to sell these pets or get rid of them or do something, because they're just filling up part of my inventory. Yeah, just 1 second, guys. I need to vendor stuff behind you. It's kind of nice having class of armor for every thing now. And weapon. It means I can make use of everything rather than like some stuff just not really having a purpose. Like if it's mail, I can use it. If it's plate, I can send it over to my warrior. If it's leather, I can send it to the monk. If it's cloth, I can send it to the mage. Like it's just... I don't know. It's nice having that like extra level of completionism with everything. Nice if you could tame one of those tiny like flaming bone chickens. They'd seem like a dumb pet that I'd like to have. I actually haven't looked at that list of new Shadowlands pets, actually. Let's see if I can get that up while we're... Well, Shadowlands Hunter pets. Just click back in the game so you get the rest of his dialogue. I know they increased the amount of pets that you can have as well, which is really nice. But I think you can tame the dragons, the Pandaria ones, the Cloud Serpents. That's one major one. I wonder if I can get an astral one. Like if I can tame the boss. That would be cool. Especially if it counts as a spirit beast. I don't know if it would, because it's astral, not a spirit, technically. In my head, that fits into the same bracket. That's why I'm using it for the undead theme, but... Still. Doesn't really fit, does it? So I'm hoping, if there is one, then it fits into Spirit Beast, just because then that'd be nice. I actually had a hunter ask me where I got the Spirit Beast from the other day while I was just like AFK in Dalaran eating my dinner, basically. That was kind of nice. It's just rare that you have those like actual community moments in retail WoW. Like the biggest community moment I think I've had is since I've been streaming and like meeting Drac and stuff. Like before then, for the most part, it's just been joining the guild, and then occasionally a member of the guild will talk to me for like 5 minutes, then they'll go offline, and that's it. Like, doesn't really feel super community heavy. It's just like, oh, you're around, I guess I'll talk. Which I'm hoping will change when Shadowlands is here and we have everybody back. Well, a lot of people back at least. Oh, it's this track that kind of reminds me of Portal. I hope it's... you can hear it. Kind of reminds me of like the Aperture Labs sort of music. Uh-huh. What do we get from that as well? Oh, wow. More Wrath leggings. Beautiful. Oh, 1 second, I'm getting a phone call. Cool, that was a fun, completely silent call. That's nice. I love those. I think in future, if I just don't recognize the number, I'm just gonna not fucking answer them. Which is bad, because I apply to jobs with my phone number, so if it's a number I don't recognize, it might be a job calling me, but... It's getting really irritating, the amount of times you just get called by a number that just is either trying to sell you insurance for an injury that never happened, or people who just call and then don't fucking say anything. It's really irritating. Right, Shadowlands Hunter Pet changes. New pet families: camels, corsairs, mammoths. Then new pet families, really? Okay. Renamed pet families. Silithid is now Akiri. Dog is now Hound. Shale Spider is now Shale Beast. Krolisk is now a Carapid. Goat is now a Gruffhorn. And Quillin is now Stonehound. Since all hunters have the tranquilizing shot gain, previous pet families that provided the same utility, such as rays or spirit beasts, have had it removed. These abilities have been replaced with personal dispel spirit pulse that removes all harmful debuffs from the pet only. Oh, okay. Are they basically just making spirit beasts not as good? Core mechanics for the pets remain unchanged in Shadowlands. Each family is still a set specialization. All of it will be detailed below. Oh, technically the Cloud Serpents aren't coming in Shadowlands, they're coming in the pre-patch. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Undead hunters can also tame undead pets. That's cool. We didn't get them out. But... But yeah, I can immediately just buy the Oh, also you can get the simple tome of bone binding to tame undead beasts in the Shadowlands. So I can actually have undead pets in Shadowlands. That is beautiful. Oh, and Elagon, the Astral Cloud Serpent, is a spirit beast. And is tameable. So you know what we're doing as soon as pre-patch comes out. Fuck saving Anduin, I'm gonna go tame a dragon. Specifically an astral dragon, which matches my beautiful man. And pet, too. I can have just 4 of these beautiful boys. I'm also just kind of interested in taming all of the things as well now. The undead beasts and stuff. Because I already have an undead bird. Because I found a bird in... was it Western Plaguelands? The birds, the undead ones that like fly around near the back of the zone or whatever. Oh, the portal's broken. They still count as birds and not undead, so you can tame them even though they're technically using the undead bird, like, model. Like the mummified birds or whatever, they're like wrapped in cloth and stuff. So you can get one undead pet already, technically. And I think you can also tame the undead bears in the Plaguelands too. But it'd be interesting to see what the other new undead pets are. I'm hoping I can tame... Oh, actually, if they count as... I wonder what the undead talents are going to be, actually, for the pets as well. Depending on whether or not they're better than Spirit Beasts. Also, I need to actually read that Spirit Beast change again to actually know whether it's good or bad. Because the idea of removing some of their abilities doesn't seem amazing, but also Spirit Beasts still have all their useful skills like self-heals and stuff, so they still might be really good. And really tanky, because a tank that can heal itself isn't overpowered or broken at all. And also I'll probably be soloing most content until I get to dungeons anyway, so it might just be a matter of right now I have my Spirit Beast as my main pet, right? That I use for everything because it's higher damage, higher tanking, and then I have my pterodactyl for movement stuff. Yeah, they also get 20% bonus to damage because they can stealth. And Spirit Mend, which heals itself. Which is really nice. Spirit Shock blasts the enemy target, removing 1 enrage and 1 magic effect. Is that the thing they're removing? Spirit Shock. Yes, I think so. But they're now getting Spirit Pulse. Which is just it doesn't do it. It's just for itself, basically. Rather than targeting the enemy, it targets itself. To remove negative debuffs. Which is still really good, to be honest. Especially for a tank pet. It can heal itself, it can go stealth, and it can remove negative effects from itself. Why would you not take that? It's really good. I'm thinking how I can put this on stream so we can just read the rest of this together. As a way to kind of end things. Window capture, you're just gonna have to... Oh no, technically I can't do that because it has something else on the side because adverts are a thing, aren't they? I mean, that'll do. If I need to, I'll just edit part of the VOD or remove something, so that's fine. Sure. There we go. Right, hopefully that's legible, because we're just going to sit and read through the rest of this. It's not a super long article, so... but yeah, we can get Elegon. That beautiful boy is a nice new pet. Also, you can tame horses now. Sure. This allows Alliance Hunters to tame horses normally unavailable to Horde players, since those other horses are friendly to the Alliance. Nice. Shale worms such as the Corybus from the Oh shit, I actually really liked these and I wanted to tame these ages ago. Because I really liked the look of them, but I don't think you can tame any of them right now because they count as elemental or whatever. Which is nice. What is this thing? The Carnosh. Oh shit, those giant boys, you can tame those? What the fuck? Okay, that's cool. Also, they did choose the one horse that looks kinda cool that you can tame. Oh yeah, well so you can tame the armoured mammoth. That would look cool as shit, actually. New pet models in existing families. What? That's an undead pterodactyl. That's from Maldraxxus, isn't it? Transport Felrox are one of the undead pets added to the... Oh, shit. I'm just so excited looking at all of these. Wait, we can tame Precious? And we can tame that store mount. That's the thing we can do now, apparently. Holy shit, these are cool. Yeah, I want to tame all of these. Oh, come on. I remember looking at that on the pre-patch when it was in the mount list as well. You can tame that as a pet. So many cool pets. That's the first thing we're doing when pre-patch comes out. We're going to go and tame Elegon. That is beautiful. Oh, that's so bad. Also, if you're saying anything in chat, I really can't see. Oh, I can now. There we go. I've got it on my phone. It's fine. Yeah, we're doing that straight away. Shit. I wonder how good undead beasts are going to be then. The exact method of how to obtain this term is still unknown, but the text strongly suggests it's related to the Necrolord Covenant. Huh. Undead hunters do not require this term. Undead beasts that are not tied to any specific family, as they are scattered throughout multiple different families, such as Hound, Elves, or Wind Serpent. Oh, okay. So if they're from a good pet family, they might be good. Which is interesting. It does mean I might be able to get an Undead Beast as my, like, speedrunning one. Because I feel like I'm probably going to stick with Spirit Beast, especially if Elegon is really good. Actually, if they got the, I don't want to click too many links in case it brings extra stuff up. Just because the ads on the Wowhead site, like, pull your location data and shit as well. I don't exactly want to just put that on the internet, you know? But yeah, the thingy ones, the Spirit Beast fit into this one, don't they? The Tenacity. Has that changed at all? Where is it? Survival of the Fittest? 6 seconds, 6 seconds, 3-minute cooldown? 3-minute cooldown, yeah, it's exactly the same. As usually, the choice of dungeons and raids, extra health and another damage reduction cooldown are invaluable. Yep. Oh, actually we have all of them listed down here. Beautiful. But yeah, that's getting changed to Spirit Pulse, which is what that one is currently. Spirit Shock. And Spirit Men's still there, Spirit Walk, the stealth one. Yeah, cool. That's cool. So that's pretty much the same. They're just getting, arguably, in my opinion, a better version of what they already have. So I'm fine with that. Where are thingy, though? Where are the Cloud Serpents? Corehounds, Clefttooth, Chimera, Cat, Carrion Bird. Wind Serpent is down there at the bottom. Am I blind? I don't think I'm blind. I'm pretty sure that isn't... Either that or it isn't alphabetical. It's English alphabetical. Hey, Corehounds. Beautiful. My boys. Yeah, no, Spirit Beasts are just good in general. The only thing I found early on was that Corehounds can kind of tank a bit more. Yeah, they can keep itself alive. With Obsidian Skin. Because my entire leveling experience I used Corehounds, and then I swapped to Spirit Beasts when I hit, like, endgame 120 stuff. Oh, Spirit Beasts, are they going to be the same as the undead ones? They just fit into another thing. And Iron Hunters don't need the term, they can tame them right away. That's really cool. Yeah. The extra pages of stuff is nice. Where's the Spirit Beast thing? Here it is. If you want already, make sure to be exalted heading into the new expansion. I am, actually. Time is bound to account, so if you have the exalted on another character, you can always try and... Oh, that's cool. You can always mail it to your other guys. Inheritors contain the spirit, the Cloud Serpents naturally and have no need for them. Cloud Serpents are part of the regular Serpent family. Ah. I am dumb. Where are serpents, then? Oh, they're cunning. Interesting. So they fit into the same bracket as these boys, right? Because my sprinty guys. Pathfinding. There we go. Yep. Speedrunning pet. Literally. Where's the pterodactyl one? Oh, there we go. Pterodactyls still have updraft though, which is better than that. Which is really unfortunate. What do these guys fit into? They Hound, Devilsaur, Wind Serpent, which is all over the place, isn't it? Isn't Hound part of this one? They have Lockjaw. What's Lockjaw do? Reducing movement speed by 50%? Okay. Not really that useful for speedrunning. I feel like the updraft is just the most English. It's the most useful because it has the most like utility. That one can make itself run faster. That's helpful. Most of them just have the same ability renamed, because that is exactly the same as that, and also that. It's the same ability. Like, it's really disappointing. Agile reflexes. The fox heightens its sense, increasing dodge chance by okay, that's not really helpful for me though, is it? That just makes itself better. Hold on, reducing damage take. Okay, kind of like a tanky speedrunning pet. Still not really worth it. Right. I think maybe we spend some more time looking at this next stream. We've been going for like 2 hours. I kind of need to go do some of the stuff. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. We didn't actually get any mounts, but we looked at some cool hunter stuff, and I'm really excited for Shadowlands pre-patch now because I get to go tame a whole bunch of new hunters stuff, and then maybe farm out some bits and pieces as well. That should be really fun. I don't know how much more WoW stuff we will do before October 13th. I might do a gold farming stream this week or next week, just because I haven't been doing much lately. Still managed to earn a decent chunk of gold, weirdly, but I haven't really been doing enough, because I could have earned a lot more. So, gonna hopefully do that, hopefully have a whole bunch of gold ready for Shadowlands. But I'll see you guys again. Probably not tomorrow, more than likely Friday for something else. So I'll see you guys then.